You are about to hear The Occult Anatomy of Man and Occult Masonry by Manly P. Hall, narrated by Joseph Kent. Part 1. The Human Body in Symbolism. In Scripture, we are told that God made man in his own image. It is so stated not only in the Bible, but also in the holy writings of nearly all enlightened people. The Jewish patriarchs taught that the human body was a microcosm, or little cosmos, made in the image of the macrocosm, or the great cosmos. This analogy between the finite and the infinite is said to be one of the keys by the aid of which the secrets of the Holy Writ are unlocked. There is no doubt that the Old Testament is a physiological and anatomical textbook to those capable of reading it from a scientific viewpoint. The functions of the human body, the attributes of the human mind, and the qualities of the human soul have been personified by the wise men of the ancient world, and a great drama has been built around the relationships to themselves and to each other. To the great Egyptian demigod Hermes, the human race owes its concept of the law of analogy. The great Hermetic axiom was, "That which is above is like unto which is below, and that which is below is like unto that which is above." The religions of the ancient world were all based on nature worship, which in a degenerated form has survived to our own day as phallicism. The worship of the parts and functions of the human body began in the later Lemurian period. During the Atlantean epoch, this region gave place to sun worship, but the new faith incorporated into its doctrines many of the rituals and symbols of the previous belief. The building of temples in the form of the human body is a custom common to all peoples. The tabernacle of the Jews, the great Egyptian temple of Karnak, the religious structures of the Hawaiian priests, and the Christian churches laid out in the form of the cross are examples of this practice. If the human body were laid out with the arms spread in the shape of any of these buildings, it would be found that the high altar would occupy the same relative position in the building that the brain occupies in the human body. All the priests of the ancient world were anatomists. They recognized that all the functions of nature were reproduced in miniature in the human body. They therefore used man as the textbook, teaching their disciples that to understand man was to understand the universe. These wise men believed that every star in the heavens, every element in the earth, and every function in nature was represented by a corresponding center, pole, or activity within the human body. This correlation between nature without and the nature of man within, which was concealed from the multitudes, formed the secret teachings of the ancient priestcraft. Religion in Atlantis and Egypt was taken much more seriously than it is today. It was the very life of these peoples. The priests had complete control over the millions of ignorant men and women who had been taught since childhood that these robed and bearded patriarchs were direct messengers from God. And it was believed that any disobedience to the commands of the priests would bring down upon the offenders the head of the wrath of the Almighty. The temple depended for its maintenance upon its secret wisdom, which gave its priests control over certain powers of nature and made them vastly superior in wisdom and understanding to the laity whom they controlled. These wise ones realized that there was a great deal more involved in religion than the chanting of mantrams and the singing of hymns. They realized that the path of salvation could be walked successfully only by those who had practical, scientific knowledge of the occult functions of their own bodies. The anatomical symbolism which they evolved in order to perpetuate this understanding has come down to modern Christianity, but the keys to it apparently have been lost. It is a tragic situation for religionists that they are surrounded by hundreds of symbols which they cannot understand. But it is still sadder that they have even forgotten that these symbols ever had any meaning other than the foolish interpretations which they themselves have concocted. The idea prevalent in the minds of Christians that their faith is the one and only true inspired doctrine, and that it came parentless into the world, is unreasonable in the extreme. A study of comparative religions proves beyond a doubt that Christianity has begged, borrowed, or stolen its philosophies and concepts from the religions and philosophies of the ancient and medieval pagan worlds. Among the religious symbols and allegories which belonged to the world long ago before the coming of Christianity are a few to which we would like to call your attention. The following Christian symbols and concepts are of pagan origin. The Christian cross comes from Egypt and India, the triple mitre from the faith of the Mithraics, the shepherd's crook from the Hermetic mysteries and Greece, the Immaculate Conception from India, the Transfiguration from Persia, and the Trinity from the Brahmins. The Virgin Mary, as the Mother of God, is found in a
Sample complete. Ready to continue?